An average American family of four throws away about $1,487 worth of food every single year. Not eats, throws away, straight into the trash. The average new car payment hit $774 a month in the last quarter of 2025. And more than 21% of new car buyers are signing up for payments over $1,000 a month. These numbers might seem small on their own, but think about hundreds of thousands of people doing this, and you realize the massive gap between how most people handle money and how people who actually build wealth handle it. The difference is not dramatic lifestyle changes. The difference is a collection of boring habits that pay off huge in the long run. Unglamorous, unsexy, nobody wants to talk about them kind of habits. And nobody wants to hear this. Because people love their comfort but ask them about money and they are broke. Social media is full of endless side hustle stories and fairy tales people fall for, but nobody talks about the hard habits behind real wealth. The system always works the same way. Make it look easy, sell the course, take the money. Crypto plays and get rich quick schemes everywhere you look. Boring stuff does not get clicks because our brains get easy dopamine hits, and who cares about boring truths? Boring stuff does not look good on Instagram, but boring stuff works. This video covers 10 habits that are genuinely unsexy but genuinely effective. None of them are exciting. None of them will make you the most interesting person at dinner. But if you actually apply all of them consistently, they will make you wealthier. The more boring your money management feels, the better you are probably doing. In one way that is good, and in another way it is bad, because your comfort zone will never be the same. Let me give you one piece of advice. Do the hard thing so you stop looking for the easy way out. Vehicle is $774. That is $9,288 a year before insurance, maintenance, gas, and habit one. Drive an older car that feels comfortable. The average monthly payment on a new registration. Cars lose about 20% of their value the moment they leave the dealership because at that point it is used, even if it has 0 miles on it. By the end of year one, that loss hits 26 to 31%. A $47,000 car is worth $32,000 to $35,000 in 12 months. You just lost more than most Americans save in an entire year. The financially smart approach looks nothing like car commercials. A 5-year-old Toyota Camry or Honda Accord runs $15,000 to $19,500. It has already absorbed the steepest depreciation. It does not need major repairs for years. Modern cars reliably run 150,000 to 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. Drive that car for 3 to 4 years, sell it before major repairs become likely, and escape the maintenance costs. The depreciation during your ownership is minimal. This creates a recycling effect. One pool of money keeps moving from car to car instead of evaporating into depreciation losses and interest payments. Research on over 10,000 millionaires consistently confirms this pattern. The median price millionaires pay for a vehicle is $31,500. The top 3 car brands driven by millionaires are Toyota, Honda, and Ford. No luxury brands. Someone making $774 monthly car payments, who instead drives a paid-off older car and invests that $774 monthly at 8% returns, accumulates approximately $172,000 over 15 years. That is insane. That is wild when you think about it. Transportation gets you from point A to point B. The journey in a $4,500 Honda Civic arrives at the same destination as the journey in a $51,000 luxury SUV. One person reaches that destination building wealth. The other reaches it destroying it. Habit 2. Eat the same meals on rotation. This sounds ridiculous to people who treat meals as entertainment. It sounds completely obvious to people who have studied how frugal households actually operate. Having 4 to 5 staple meals you rotate through weekly serves multiple purposes at the same time. Grocery bills become predictable. When you buy the same ingredients repeatedly, you know exactly what everything costs. No surprises. Budgeting becomes straightforward because the number stays consistent week after week. Food waste drops. The average American throws away about $327 worth of food every year. When you cook the same meals over and over, you know exactly how much of each ingredient gets used. Nothing sits in the fridge until it spoils. The mental energy of constantly deciding what to eat disappears entirely. You already know the answer. The objection is always the same. Will not this get boring? Surprisingly, no. Rotating through 5 meals means eating each one about once a week. You can switch up sauces and seasonings for variety. You can adjust the rotation by season. The structure gives you freedom instead of constraint. Households that adopt this approach consistently spend 30 to 42% less on groceries than households that wing it week by week. That is almost half. Habit 3. Eat everything you buy before buying more. Before your next grocery run, empty the fridge, empty the freezer, empty the pantry. Use what you have instead of accumulating more. According to USDA data, Americans waste 30 to 40% of their food supply. That translates to about $1,487 a year for a family of 4 going straight into the trash. That is basically a minimum wage paycheck. Food waste accounts for more than 24% of municipal solid waste in America. The habit of cleaning out before restocking forces you to be honest about what you actually consume versus what you optimistically purchase. Practical approach. Designate 1 week per month as a use what you have week. No grocery shopping. Make meals from whatever is left. Get creative with combinations. Only after exhausting existing inventory do you restock. This single habit can reduce household food spending by 16 to 24%, while also cutting out the guilt of watching food go bad. Habit 4. Make coffee and drinks at home. According to research, Americans spend about $44.75 a month on coffee shop purchases as of 2025. Gen Z spends even more, around $51 a month. A specialty coffee drink at Starbucks costs $6 to $8. Someone buying one daily on weekdays spends roughly $1,560 to $2,080 a year just on coffee. Coffee brewed at home using quality beans costs $0.27 to $0.52 per cup. Even premium specialty beans keep the cost under $1 per cup. The math is simple. Daily Starbucks habit, about $2,000 a year. Daily home brewed coffee, about $160 to $375 a year. The difference, $1,625 to $1,840 a year. That $1,800 annual difference invested at 8% returns over 30 years becomes approximately $220,000. This is not about deprivation. A quality home espresso setup or pour-over station can produce coffee equal to or better than coffee shops. Save the coffee shop visits for social occasions where the experience itself has value. Make the daily consumption at home where the only purpose is caffeine delivery. Habit 5. Bring your own food everywhere. Lunch out costs $12 to $18 in most markets. A meal prepped at home costs $3.25 to $5.50 for similar nutritional value. Someone buying lunch at work 5 days a week spends about $3,120 to $4,680 a year on midday meals. Someone bringing lunch from home spends about $780 to $1,430. The savings from workday lunches alone is roughly $2,100 to $3,200. This principle extends to travel. Airport food carries absurd markups. Restaurant meals at tourist destinations cost 30 to 50% more than equivalent meals at home. When you arrive anywhere, visit a grocery store. Stock up on breakfast items, snacks, and simple meal ingredients. Eat out once or twice for the experience, but do not default to restaurants for every single meal. A week-long vacation might involve $480 in restaurant spending. The same vacation with grocery shopping and selective dining out might cost $140 to $210 in food. The difference funds, another vacation. This habit is admittedly unsexy. Nobody posts Instagram stories about packing sandwiches for the plane. Nobody brags about eating grocery store chicken in the hotel room. But the people who do these things consistently are the same people who travel more frequently because their trips cost less. Habit 6. Shop in person rather than online. Online shopping has made spending money effortless. A few taps and purchases arrive at your door. No friction, no delay between impulse and transaction. That frictionless experience is exactly the problem. According to consumer behavior research, online shoppers spend 15 to 32% more than in-store shoppers on equivalent purchases. The algorithms are designed to maximize your spending. Recommended products, one-click ordering, saved payment information. Every obstacle between you and your money has been systematically removed. Shopping in person brings that friction back. You have to drive somewhere. You have to walk through aisles. You have to physically carry items. You have to wait in line. Each step creates an opportunity to reconsider. Do I really need this? Is this worth the effort? The inconvenience acts as a natural filter against impulse buying. For a practical reset, spend 1 month deleting shopping apps from your phone. Remove saved payment information from websites. Make a rule that non-essential purchases must be made in person. The barrier of leaving your house prevents most impulse buying. The things you actually need will still be worth the trip. The things you only wanted in a momentary impulse will not survive the friction. Habit 7. Pick a wardrobe and stop buying clothes. The average American spends about $1,847 a year on clothing. Most of those clothes get worn a handful of times before being donated, thrown out, or forgotten in the closet. Fast fashion has created an expectation of constant wardrobe rotation. New trends drop every month. Social media showcases endless outfit combinations. The pressure to never repeat an outfit has become culturally embedded. That pressure is expensive and completely unnecessary. The alternative: build a capsule wardrobe of quality basics that work together. Pick a consistent style. Buy pieces that fit well and will last years. Then stop. This means wearing the same things repeatedly. Being an outfit repeater, looking essentially the same most days, the benefits are real. No more decision fatigue about what to wear. No more time wasted browsing clothing websites. No more closets overflowing with stuff you forgot you owned. No more waste from garments worn once. The cost per wear calculation matters more than the purchase price. A $295 sweater worn 100 times costs $2.95 per wear. A $28 sweater worn twice costs $14 per wear. Quality items worn repeatedly are cheaper than cheap items thrown away quickly. Research on millionaire behavior shows they do not constantly update their wardrobes. They find what works and stick with it. Habit 8. Treat yourself like a bill and pay yourself first. Most people manage money in a predictable sequence. Paycheck arrives, bills get paid, spending happens. Whatever remains, if anything remains, goes to savings. This sequence guarantees savings will be minimal. Before rent, before utilities, before discretionary spending. What remains after paying yourself is what is available for everything else. Your lifestyle adapts to that smaller number. The psychology is simple. You cannot spend money you never see. Set up automatic transfers for the first day after each paycheck. Fund retirement accounts, emergency reserves, and investment accounts before your checking balance even registers the deposit. Make saving the default instead of the afterthought. This single structural change, moving savings from last priority to first, separates people who accumulate wealth from people who constantly wonder where their money went. Habit 9. Live 2 years behind your income. When income increases through raises, promotions, or new positions, the natural tendency is immediate lifestyle inflation. More money means nicer apartments, newer cars, better restaurants. This behavior is called lifestyle creep, and it is why high earners often have the same financial stress as lower earners. Their expenses expanded to perfectly match their income at every level. The alternative: pretend you are still earning what you earned 2 years ago. When you get a raise, do not upgrade anything. Keep the same apartment, keep the same car, keep the same spending habits. Bank the entire difference between your new income and your old lifestyle. This creates automatic margin. The gap between what you earn and what you spend widens with every income increase instead of staying flat. Goldman Sachs research found that 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 report living paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those earning over $500,000 say the same thing. These are high earners with no financial cushion because their expenses grew alongside their income. The 2-year rule prevents this trap. Your lifestyle still improves over time, just on a delay. You still get nicer things eventually, but the lag creates savings that compound for years before being spent. Someone earning $65,000 and living on $55,000 has $10,000 annually to invest. When their income rises to $80,000, but their lifestyle stays at $55,000, they have $25,000 annually to invest. Wealth accumulation accelerates dramatically while quality of life stays stable. Habit 10. Have a hobby that can make money. This final habit is different from the others. Instead of cutting spending, it focuses on expanding income through something you already do. According to research published by Inkich's, 65% of self-made millionaires have at least 3 income streams. Not one, not two, at least 3. For most people, developing additional income streams feels overwhelming. Side hustles require time, energy, and skills many believe they do not have. The reframe. Instead of starting a business, monetize something you already enjoy. If you love fitness, document your journey online. If you are skilled at a craft, sell what you create. If you are knowledgeable about a topic, teach it. If you enjoy writing, freelance. If you are good at your job, consult for others in the same field. The barrier to monetizing your interest has never been lower. Platforms exist for selling physical products, digital products, services, content, and expertise. The infrastructure is already built. You just need to show up. This does not mean quitting your job or working 80-hour weeks. Even 1 to 5 hours weekly directed toward building something that generates money can produce an extra $100, $500, or $1,000 monthly, depending on the approach. That additional income flows directly into the earlier habits on this list. Bigger emergency fund cushion, larger retirement contributions, faster debt payoff. The compounding accelerates because more fuel enters the system. The unsexy math of boring wealth building. None of these habits generate excitement. Nobody films TikToks about eating the same meals weekly or driving a 16-year-old car. Viral content involves flashy purchases, dramatic transformations, and get-rich-quick narratives. But the people who actually accumulate wealth, not the people who look wealthy on social media, consistently practice these boring behaviors. According to Ramsey Solutions research on millionaires, 79% are self-made with no inheritance. Only 31% averaged $100,000 or more in annual income throughout their careers. The average millionaire reached that status after 28 years of consistent behavior. 8 out of 10 invested in employer retirement plans. 3 out of 4 also invested outside company plans. Not a single millionaire in the study cited single stock picking as a major factor in their success. The path runs through consistent saving, consistent investing, and consistent restraint over decades. Nothing flashy, nothing viral, nothing that makes a good Instagram post. The boring math. Driving older cars instead of financing new ones saves $5,200 to $8,100 a year. Eating at home with meal rotation saves $3,100 to $4,900 a year. Making coffee at home saves $1,560 to $2,040 a year. Bringing your own food saves $2,100 to $3,200 a year. Reducing impulse purchases through friction saves $1,900 to $3,800 a year. Together, these habits represent $13,860 to $22,040 in annual savings compared to typical American spending patterns. $15,000 a year invested at 8% returns over 25 years becomes approximately $1.2 million. Boring habits produce millionaire outcomes. Exciting spending patterns produce paycheck-to-paycheck stress regardless of income level. The choice is not between enjoying life and building wealth. The choice is between prioritizing the appearance of success through consumption versus prioritizing actual success through accumulation. One path looks good on social media, the other path creates financial freedom. The average American cannot cover a $1,000 emergency expense. The average American carries more credit card debt than savings. The average American will work until they physically cannot, because they never built anything that generates income without their labor. These averages reflect what happens when people follow exciting spending patterns instead of boring saving habits. Unsexy works. Boring builds wealth. The habits that feel like deprivation in year 1 feel like freedom in year 10. Choose the boring path. Your future self will thank you. Subscribe.